Initiating moisture.
Welcome to the Moist Meter. Today we're going to be analyzing the moisture content of the new Netflix movie, Bright. This movie's getting double-fisted by critics, but the audience is loving the movie. Has the biggest discrepancy I've seen on Rotten Tomatoes in a long time between the critic score and the audience score. The soft micro-dicked critics have given it a 29%, but the audience is giving it a 94% as of making this Moist Meter. So what do we, the sodden scientists, think about this? The experts. Well, as with everything on the 2017 internet landscape, an opinion's going to get you shit on no matter what, but we're not afraid of it. We're not afraid to use scientific data to say without a shadow of a doubt the critics are full of shit on this one. Is it a perfect movie? Fuck no. Is it a great movie? Also, fuck no. Is it a good, enjoyable, and fun movie? Yes. Fuck yes. When I first saw the previews, I was expecting a Men in Black type movie since it had Will Smith and it had a very similar looking universe, and I got a kind of Men in Black type movie. Not quite as good as Men in Black 1 and 2. We're going to pretend Men in Black 3 doesn't exist because that movie was just an absolute pile of abortion, but it was similar in style to Men in Black 1 and 2, which I will always love. And, you know, that's comparable. I can compare this movie to Men in Black because they're very similar. Unlike the major critics out there that are comparing this movie to the fucking Emoji Movie. That's just so lazy and such a blatant attempt to drum up clicks for your dying website. It's so sad. At least try and make a good article and defend your lousy points on why this movie is one of the worst of the year, which it's not. It's not a great movie. There's a lot of flaws that you're not wrong to point out, but those flaws don't detract from the enjoyment of the film, especially since the movie doesn't take itself all that seriously. The storyline is nonsensical at points. There's plot holes. There's some bad acting here and there. But all of it adds to this cheesy, mindless fun that this movie delivers. It's pleasant to look at. The universe was very interesting. I enjoyed pretty much everything about this movie, including all of its flaws. There's a lot of things I can pick apart. It's a very goofy premise of a movie. A magic wand everyone's trying to get, you know? Well, Cosmo fucking lost his magic wand and now everyone's going for it. And it's fun. It's just fun. There's a lot of action, too. Each scene leads to a giant shootout or something cool happening. It's not just exposition out the ass and it's not just jokes. There's jokes sprinkled throughout the action and they use the action for jokes. I love that kind of shit. It's not Jackie Chan levels of action comedy, but it's good. It's fun. It's refreshing. It also delivers a nice little positive message of racism being bad. That's nothing unique, nothing that hasn't been done a million times before, but yeah, it's a nice little positive message. Everyone hates the orcs in this movie because they sided with the Dark Lord 2,000 years ago. I guess Voldemort was terrorizing the Muggle world during his heyday, and then they stopped him. And now everyone hates the orcs, but one orc becomes a police officer, and he's a fucking great character. I love Joel Edgerton as that character. Fucking nailed it. And all of the orcs in this movie hate him for it, and they all dress like YouTube tough guys these days with their loose-fitting Supreme clothing, and I'm sure when they talk orcish, they're telling people to smash that like button. It was a fun universe, and all the characters were enjoyable, even though a lot of them made no sense in this movie. Now, as for flaws, I'll go ahead and point them out. Bad writing in a lot of places. Jokes that don't land a lot. Also, a lot of the action and a lot of the story is lackluster and not very inspired. There's a lot I can say in terms of flaws, but when you watch this movie, I think those flaws will just kind of add to the cheesy fun of this movie. I also think the movie's a bit too long. It starts to overstay its welcome towards the end. It could have been condensed by about 30 minutes. There's a lot of drawn-out scenes and a lot of tired shit in there, but it's still a fun movie. Let's just go ahead and pop this shit into the Moist Meter. I'm giving this a 60%. I think it is a movie worth watching if you want to just sit down, have some mindless fun with this movie, with some Will Smith one-liners and some nice banter, a very nice looking world with a very fun new premise. You know, how many movies have a magic wand that's trying to summon Voldemort? Not too many, I imagine. It's just an enjoyable film. There's a lot of flaws here. I don't think you're going to care about them if you're the kind of person who just likes some good action and a different take on an action comedy. It's just a fun movie, really. I have nothing more to say. I think the critics completely just don't understand the idea that movies can just be fun despite having flaws. Apparently, video game magazines understand that because they're giving PUBG tins all around despite that game hardly fucking working. That fucking nightmare of a game works about as well as a colonoscopy without an asshole. And for some reason, movie critics just can't grasp that concept that shit can be fun even if there is some glaring flaws in it. But yeah, I mean, that's it. So yeah.